Coming up on today's REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show.
You know, I was yes and no, up or down. There was no gray or middle ground. And what I've learned as an entrepreneur, when you're taking calculated risk, when you're making decisions, you know, with millions of dollars in the bank, when you're making decisions of large teams, what I've learned in this journey is to have that gray area, which is what I call compassion.
Closer to my dreams.
She's the author of the highly sought-after GOALIE coaching system, who is passionate about helping seasoned entrepreneurs become unstuck in their thinking, abilities, and revenue. She's a coach, author, and speaker who has sharpened her ability to stretch the vision, mission, and goals of those strong enough to withstand the journey of entrepreneurship. As the founder and visionary of Collette Portis & Co., Collette Portis is a business coach with 20-plus years of experience helping clients think big, strategize for success, and increase revenue. Colette's mission is to change the lives of whole families because winning is the only option. This is the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show with Collette Portis. Today, we have an amazing guest on the show that I am excited about. I'm always excited about my guests, but let me tell you about this guy. This dude can cook. And when I tell you he can cook, I know because I was the professional sampler and taster, and then I would have the meal afterwards. And so he makes me very happy. He is a World Food Championship top competitor. He's a Texas super chef, a serial entrepreneur and coach, and a proud graduate of the University of Houston and Le Cordon Bleu. Please help me welcome to the show today, Mr. Aundre Blasingame. Hi, Aundre.
Hey, what's going on, Miss Collette Portis? Wow, what accolades! I don't know if I've heard anybody loved in the beginning. I appreciate that.
Well, that's because you're fabulous and you can cook. So how could we not, right?
Well, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that, and your phenomenal work and effort that you're doing in the community and with the people. You know, this is years in the making. So I'm just excited to be on your show to see that, your dreams are coming forth and being manifested. So I'm excited just to be here.
Well, thank you. Well, we're going to have a good time on the show today because Andre's got good stories, if you guys don't already know some of his good stories. So my audience doesn't know you as well as I do, Andre. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, a little bit about myself. I'll start with not the very beginning, but the beginning. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I spent a lot of time. That's where I grew up. That's what I call home. And that's where I grew my love for culinary. I started off working in a sandwich shop in my teens. And that's where the food business for me actually started. Then worked in, a multitude of different restaurants, from fine dining to smoothies to fast food. There's not too much in the food industry that I have not been a part of. Went to Le Cordon Bleu after that, because when I went to the University of Houston, it was more for the front of the house, and I went to Le Cordon Bleu for the back of the house. And when I left Le Cordon Bleu, my favorite highlight was my internship at Walt Disney World in Orlando. Is that I got to spend almost a year down in Orlando, Florida, with working at the Grand Floridian, which is the top resort in all of the Disney locations. And we fed about 8,000 people a day. We had four different kitchens, all working out of one place. So each kitchen fed anywhere from about 5,000 to 8,000 people a day. And that's really learned how to become a chef. Just a little background on me.
That is amazing. See, this is why I love doing this, because I get to learn something new, because that I did not know that. And so absolutely, I can certainly understand now why you can cook the way you do if you're cooking for 8,000 people a day. That is a lot. And one of the things I tell my friends is I cook cereal around here. If my son's not home, then cereal it is. So if I'm
okay, so since you cook cereal, do you put your cereal in first or your milk?
I'm going to put the cereal in first. You got to do the recipe right.
Okay, so you're all right with me. I don't care what anybody says. You respected my book for cooking cereal.
It's official. Cereal can be cooked. So let me ask a question. who did you think you were before you even started this journey as a chef and an entrepreneur? Like, what did you think you would?
Well, who I was, just to be honest, I was a, poor black kid that grew up in the ghetto. People, when they think of Kentucky, they always think of country. Well, I grew up in the city part of Kentucky in Louisville. It's almost 1 million people there, and we had projects like New York, and we had poor slum livings and poor, living conditions. And so my first thought was, I'm gonna end up like the hood, for the listeners out there. And so for a long time, that's what I believed was going to happen. And then I had a mentor, a gentleman by the name of Mr. White, when I was in high school. He opened up my mind to traveling. I was in a magnet program for traveling tourism in high school. So we got to travel to Barbados and Hawaii. I mean, we went to France, and, we took cruises, and all this was in high school. I was like, you know what? I no longer want to be, part of the neighborhood, mentality. I want to build the neighborhood. And so I began that journey in thinking about building the neighborhood by going, leaving my hometown, going to explore different things like going to Houston and moving to Dallas and do all this traveling. And it brought me to a point where I knew that working for somebody wasn't my goal. I was somebody that was supposed to develop. If it wasn't developing people, it was going to be developing businesses, developing, multiple streams of income, developing multiple sports teams. Who knew at the time? And so that journey helped me to become that entrepreneur now. It gave me, growing up, what I don't ever want to be that again. And I want to free any mind that's out there for it. And it's made me the person now that, has, little to no fear, little to no inability to do anything. And it taught me to be smart enough that if you're not smart enough to do it, get a bunch of smart people around you to help.
Absolutely.
So that's what has changed to who I've become now.
You're listening to REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show on Tap the Mic Radio with Collette Portis, and we'll be right back after this.
Closer to my dreams.
Take 10 for Boston's 10. Take Phil and Shannon to go.
Take live streaming breaking news.
Take 10 and get your news local and live.
Download the NBC 10 Boston app today. Boston's 10. News to go.
Chicago Med, Fire, and PD are all together on the same night. The city of heroes, united as one.
We answer this call together.
Chicago Wednesdays on NBC.
Who's your goalie? It's an acronym for grafting objectives around longevity and entrepreneurship. Here's founder Collette Portis.
What GOALIE does is it helps you to develop the foundation of your business. It helps you to solidify who you are in the market, what problem you resolve, your company resolves, and then how you do that for a customer. And that gives an entrepreneur or a business owner the confidence that is necessary to communicate who they are and what they do simply without turning around and giving you lots and lots of information that you then have to try and decipher, only to come out not knowing what problem this company resolves for you. And so what GOALIE does is it helps you to understand why your core values, your mission, your vision, your brief history of your company is important.
Order GOALIE by Collette Portis at Amazon.com or ColettePortis.com, and let Collette Portis and Company, founder of the GOALIE movement, put you in scoring position with your future.
TapTheMicRadio.com.
This is REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show, and we're talking to the phenomenal Mr. Aundre Blasingame. It's very important about who you are right now. I'm going to come back to that, but you mentioned fear, and I think fear is so important, so I'm going to come back to that. But before I do that, tell me, what did you think the journey would be like when you finally decided, okay, this is my path. I'm not going to go work for anyone else. I'm going to go out. I'm going to do this on my own. What did you think that journey would be like?
My first thought was, because of what I learned in business, I thought that journey was going to be without income for quite some time. And I remember the day. It was January 17th of 2014. I was working. I was an executive chef at American Airlines in Fort Worth. And they paid me pretty well. We had 4 kitchens over there. to deal with. We're looking at, over 2,500 people to feed on a daily basis. So one day I came in, and it was after that bad snowstorm we had in 2013 here in the DFW. And I remember about a month later, I said, you know what? I'm not supposed to be doing this. I went to my district manager, and I told him, I'm not feeling well today. I'm quitting. He said, wait a minute, you're not feeling well, you're quitting? I said, yeah, I'm quitting. I got this eye problem. He said, what's wrong with you? I got this eye problem. I said, well, what's wrong with you? He asked me what was wrong with my eye. I said, well, I can't see myself working here anymore. It's time to go. Here's my keys. Here's my badge. I'm out. And he was like, are you serious? Well, you can't leave, and you can fire me just as quickly as I could walk out. Have a nice day. And ever since that day, I never looked back. And the only thing that I was focusing on was, how am I going to get to my destination? And the first 90 days, I realized, because the journey never stops. And that's when I changed mentally and was like, you know what? What can I learn along this journey? Because the destination doesn't end. I really thought the journey was going to be, I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be gravel. I thought it was going to be extremely rocky. I thought there were going to be no roses. And it turned out that the journey, being on it now 5 years, the journey actually had more roses than it had rocks.
I like it. I love that. I love that because that's oftentimes a lot of where the fear. Now you focus. You have no fear, and I'm going to challenge that a little bit. Okay. Because is it really that you have no fear, or you've learned how to use the fear to propel yourself forward as opposed to paralyzing yourself?
That's a good question. The one thing that I've learned, I guess, when I say I have no fear, is that when I started my journey, I was afraid to take a risk. I was afraid to step out of my comfort zone. I was afraid to doing that on a regular basis all the time. You're always doing something different or trying something different, or, doing a new recipe. I got a competition coming up at the end of the month where I have the secret ingredient. I don't even know what it is, and I got to learn to cook with it. And so because being a chef, the fear is no longer there. For me, it's not for everybody. I'm one of those, 15% of people that's like, fear doesn't drive me, because I really don't have it anymore. It's like, I'm unafraid to take that risk. I'm unafraid to go into a line of business that I've never done before. I'm unafraid to go and have the ability to invest in somebody with capital, knowing that they're going to give me a return. So fear for me is different. Everybody knows the acronym false evidence appearing real. And for me, yes. I just dropped the F. I used the EAR, evidence appearing real. Ear, because I listen. So for me, it's the fear doesn't drive me because I'm unafraid to take risks now.
I love it. I love that. And I think it's important to point that out because it is about taking risk, and it is about entrepreneurship is about learning how to take risk, because it's all about risk, but it's about learning how to take risk and what risk to take. So here's a question. Talk a little bit about how you learn the difference.
That's a huge difference. Because when you take a risk, a lot of times people take risk and it's not thought all the way through, or at least 75% through, because nothing's ever perfect. So you can have a 100% risk-free plan that still is going to have a risk that you didn't factor in. And so a calculated risk gives you the opportunity to narrow down the mistakes. For me, calculated risk is pretty much the only way that I do it, because if it doesn't make sense to me, I research it to see, crew members I would lose, how many team members I would lose, how many clients I would lose, how much time would I lose with my family, being a father. When you lose a lot of that stuff on your calculated risk, you can eliminate a lot of things to be able to take it. And sometimes risk takers are just people that will just, hey, let's just jump out of a plane today. Well, did you get your parachute? You got to be able to there's some risk. Most risk, let's be real, in business, you're always going to take a loss of some sort. But how big of a loss do you take? Warren Buffett, is calculated in what he does. And people don't realize that, he bought a company and lost $140 million one time. But he bought another company that made him $550 million. But he took a calculated risk, and he knew the consequences. So that's the biggest thing. Know your consequences of your calculated risk before you take it.
We're talking to speaker, entrepreneur, and coach, Mr. Aundre Blasingame on the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show with Collette, and we'll be right back after this.
Download the TuneIn app to your phone and listen to Tap the Mic Radio in your car. TuneIn.com and Tap the Mic Radio. We're on.
TapTheMicRadio.com. Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Hi, this is Gail Scott Key of Gail Scott Key's Entertainment Now on the brand new Tap the Mic Radio Network. This is a show where we showcase some of your favorite stars from the past, future, and now. So tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Who's your goalie? It's an acronym for grafting objectives around longevity and entrepreneurship. Here's founder Collette Portis.
What GOALIE does is it helps you to develop the foundation of your business. It helps you to solidify who you are in the market, what problem you resolve, your company resolves, and then how you do that for a customer. And that gives an entrepreneur or a business owner the confidence that is necessary to communicate who they are and what they do simply without turning around and giving you lots and lots of information that you then have to try and decipher, only to come out not knowing what problem this company resolves for you. And so what GOALIE does is it helps you to understand why your core values, your mission, your vision, your brief history of your company is important.
Order GOALIE by Collette Portis at Amazon.com or ColettePortis.com and let Collette Portis & Company, founder of the GOALIE movement, put you in scoring position with your future.
Welcome back. You're listening to Collette Portis on the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show. And today, our guest is Mr. Aundre Blasingame, Texas super chef.
My drive in the beginning would overpower the compassion that I had. And it's funny because people are like, but you're a parent, you've got girls, you've dealt with a lot of, issues that girls deal with as a father. And how do you not have that compassion? I said, well, because I was direct. I was so driven for the success to leave them something, really. I was so driven that I was just focused, hey, Dad, well, what about this? Well, you know what? I don't think that's the smart decision. You probably want to do this. But, Dad, hey, I'm not in the mood for that. Let's get it going. And so as the years went on, my daughters actually, continued to break down my compassion walls, where now when I have conversations, I can talk and not be so direct and give them some compassionate, like I have feelings. My daughters would tell me, said, you turn your feelings off when I meditate in the corner of my closet where nobody can see me cry. So, but besides that, I have to put on their facade, and having a balance, now that I still have the drive and adding in the compassion, partnerships are becoming easier. And it's making what they say in the in the business world. It makes you attract money as opposed to me chasing money. It's attracted me now, and it's affording great opportunities. Being on this radio show with you, people, and these are some of the things that weren't happening 3 or 4 years ago. Because you and I have been in this game for a little while, and it wasn't happening 3 or 4 years ago. And this was the right time and the right era, because I know for me, I have that balance now to be able to do that.
Absolutely. You said something really important. You mentioned, for the 15 minutes when you go into your closet and you cry. And one of my goals is always to help people understand. But two, along this journey, you experience all levels of emotion, including crying, because when you get to that place where you have that compassion and you have that drive and you're a winner and you don't lose, some days are tougher than other days. So tell us about one of the days that you quit and you were just like, I'm done. I quit. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to go and get a job, and I quit.
years, I have not had the I'm quitting this and go get a job. Tired of doing this industry, I'm going to quit this industry and do it. If that makes sense. You know, it wasn't a loss of, I wasn't going back to a job. I said, no, I'm not going back to a job. I said, it's just not me. I said, at this point, me and any boss would get into it on a regular basis. So, and I got to the point where I was just so tired of clients that had these over exceeding and abundant expectations on a, food stamp budget. That's what I call it. So you want to feed 150 people with a full sit-down dinner and have 2 entree choices with filet mignon and, a chicken cordon bleu, but you got $1,500 to do. And I got to a point where I was like, I really don't want to do this anymore. And there was this in my meditation time, there was something, because I started crying. I got so frustrated. I was like, why do I keep getting these $1,500 people that want $10,000 weddings or $10,000 events? It's not going to happen. And it bothered me to the point where maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm picking the wrong people. Maybe the leads are bad. I don't know. And I went to my meditation time and I shedded a few tears because I was like, I love my industry. I love being my mission. I got a very, very strong defined word. Don't leave yet. That was it. And when I heard that, I was like, but I can go make money over here with hair salons. I can go make money over here with, business coaching. I can make money over here with my commercial properties, with my networking group. Why do I have to keep this one? Don't leave yet, what I was told. And so because I didn't leave, it exploded to the point where I got all the way up to meeting Mark Cuban. So yeah. You have those times where you're down. Never had the one to go back to work, but I did have the ones that, F this industry. I don't want to be in this industry again. People get on my nerves. I quit.
That's what's phenomenal about what we do is that you do get to that place, but when you hear that voice, when you hear, or whatever you identify that voice as, but when you hear it, sometimes hearing that is crushing. Sometimes hearing that is what makes you cry because you're like, but I want to leave. But if you have the endurance and you have the resilience, and if you keep moving forward, even with tears in your eyes, and it turns into something absolutely amazing that you never could imagine it ended up being. We're on REAL-Eyez Super Chef, Mr. Aundre Blasingame, and he is giving us some jewels about the entrepreneurship industry. So if you missed it, you got to make sure you catch it again because he's been giving us some amazing stuff. So Aundre, tell me now that you've been on this journey for some years. I mean, you're seasoned at this point. You're like a good cast iron skillet that makes the best cornbread now. That was a good analogy, right? So tell me, what do you know for absolute sure at this point? And coming up, Aundre will tell us the importance of success. You're listening to REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show on Tap the Mic Radio with Collette Portis, and we'll be right back after this.
Coming up.
Success is not defined by society and other people. It's defined by you. And number 2, success is a jealous woman.
And
my greatest accomplishment, I would say, in the journey is I've learned from great leaders told me is that your greatest accomplishment is always reflective in the more of you make.
Closer to my dreams.
Who's your goalie? It's an acronym for grafting objectives around longevity and entrepreneurship. Here's founder Collette Portis.
What GOALIE does is it helps you to develop the foundation of your business. It helps you to solidify who you are in the market, what problem you resolve, your company resolves, and then how you do that for a customer. And that gives an entrepreneur or a business owner the confidence that is necessary to communicate who they are and what they do simply without without turning around and giving you lots and lots of information that you then have to try and decipher, only to come out not knowing what problem this company resolves for you. And so what GOALIE does is it helps you to understand why your core values, your mission, your vision, your brief history of your company is important.
Order GOALIE by Collette Portis at Amazon.com or ColettePortis.com and let Collette Portis and Company, founder of the GOALIE movement, put you in scoring position with your future.
Welcome back. You're listening to Collette Portis on the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show. And today, our guest is Mr. Aundre Blasingame, Texas Super Chef. So tell me, what do you know for absolute sure at this point?
The one thing that I've learned at this point is probably the biggest thing is it's twofold. It's the word success. Success is not defined by society and other people. It's defined by you. And number two, success is a jealous woman.
Oh.
In any regard. You know, they have this whole phenomenon about, having, 2 or 3 wives and side chicks and mistresses. Well, success does not want to be any of that. She is the main chick. And she will drive you to where you need to go. But if you focus 100% on her and don't build yourself, she'll destroy you all at the same time.
That is some good stuff. And you are absolutely right in that, even in success, because oftentimes success is seen as the amount of money that you have in the bank. But I have personally witnessed in my life multiple people who have made 6 figures, 7 figures, and called it success only to die with nothing. I believe that money answereth all things. However, there's some things that you can't necessarily get, but to see you create more of you in creating success, or take that and run with it and thrive and grow, is one of the most rewarding things about being an entrepreneur, being a leader, being a coach, any of those labels that you want to put on it. We're on REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show. We're talking to Mr. Aundre Blasingame, who's a speaker and serial entrepreneur and a coach and owner of multiple businesses. And he has given us some amazing, the world of entrepreneurship that is invaluable to us. And so, Aundre, what do you have coming up next? I know you mentioned you're going to be competing. Tell us about that and what you got coming up.
Well, a few things that are in the pipeline. Many of you may not know of the World Food Championships that come every year. There's usually about 1,500 to about 5,000 chefs that compete from across the world. It's the biggest chef competition in the world. It's great because it's here in Dallas. For years, it's been in Alabama. They're bringing it to the backyard. So I'm looking to take home the crown, as the best chef in the world. So I'm excited to go on that journey. And then also I'm on a tour, if you will, a demo tour. I've created these 5-ingredient, 5-step recipes, local Walmart supercenters, and actually do training classes or cooking classes with those 5 ingredients and those 5 steps. It's very simple for anybody to do. And, I'm going to have an opportunity to do that for the next 4 months. So I'll let you know which Walmart I'm going to be at so more people can, come and see me cook. It's just been exciting.
That's phenomenal. It has been an amazing thing to see your growth and what you're doing and see you compete and cheer you on from the sidelines. I'm super proud of everything that you do and everything. Every time we have an opportunity to catch up, learning more and more about how you're growing. So I really appreciate that. We let you go. One thing. If you could leave the new or aspiring entrepreneur with one word or a quote, what would it be?
There's just not one word. So if I would leave anything to a brand new entrepreneur, it would be a series of quotes that would sum up this way. Perfection is the goal, progress is the expectation. So it's the progress that makes it more important. It's the change. It's the metamorphosis. It's the how you become better year in and year out. And it started. The second thing, part of that perfection and progress. A lot of people say they want to do it, and they say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it later, I'm going to do it next week. I would just say, get started immediately. So perfection is the goal, progress is the expectation.
Thank you. Are you on social media? You got websites?
Yes, I have a few websites, so I'll give you my social medias. My personal social media is, it's at BlastJ69, BLASJ69. Then I have several different, businesses. I have a catering company that's HCDFW, at HCDFW on Facebook and Instagram. Also, Hairs to You Salon and Suites at the same thing, Facebook and Twitter. DFW, like the Dallas-Fort Worth area. DFW.com, you'll be able to go in there and see my pictures, keep you updated on all the events that I'm having throughout the DFW and beyond. I'm expanding out to Memphis and Austin as well. So awesome. I'm excited about that. And so, yeah, you can definitely find us. And also, the last place is Team Network Texas, at Team Network TX. Also find it, same thing on Facebook, that are looking to increase their bottom line profit month in and month out in what they're currently doing, or be able to expand and network with other business people like you, Collette, that have incredible business opportunities, incredible coaching staff, and incredible systems in place to help people go to their next level. So that's just a few of those that are on there.
Aundre, thank you so much. It has been such an honor. I always we could do this for another 2 or 3 hours because
pretty much
we always have. I am expecting you to come back with a win. So yeah, that's the expectation. I will be at the Iron Fork because I'm a foodie and I'm greedy and I like food. Thank you so much.
And you'll love it because when you come in, it's all you can drink and all you can eat samples from 40 different restaurants in inclusion to my competition. So you're going to enjoy all of that.
I don't understand why I shouldn't be there. I feel in my spirit that I'm supposed to be there. So I hope that you got some amazing with your dreams. If you haven't already taken the leap, do it now. No need to wait. And remember to work to realize your destiny and then set out to be great at what you're great at. This has been a REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio show with Collette Portis. Until next time, peace.
Next week on the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio show.
I really didn't know what to do. And I thought my whole world was over. It was over. There was no need to keep going. And now I look back. I look back on those 2 years and I'm just quit. He let me take a pause for the cause. But he did not let me quit. He said, this is your destiny. Your destiny is to unlock the gifts inside of women who feel like they're forgotten.
Until then, follow Collette on Instagram at Collette Portis and Tap the Mic Radio on Facebook. And don't forget to join the GOALIE movement. Are you ready to grow your team, increase your revenue, and build your legacy? Let GOALIE guide you to success. Order your GOALIE bundle today at Amazon.com or ColettePortis.com. I'm Dorian J. This has been a Collette & Co. TMRN production.